Hi, it's me, Dave Crane, and I hope you're having a lovely day. It's 31st, I was going to say 21st, 31st of December 2016, and I'm coming live now from the Dubai World Trade Center Club. And I've just done a hypnosis session, so when I speak, I might be a little bit blah, 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 purely because I've been speaking solidly for the last goodness knows how long, 2.5 hours. I'd love to Adil for joining me. I want to share with you some things this morning, this afternoon actually. In fact, it depends on which part of the world you're watching. It could be late at night, in which case you could be an insomniac, in which case you might not even have gone home yet and you're on the way back from a party and just wondering how to get in without your house keys. Whatever the story is, I want to share with you some ideas that I think would be very personal to me, might be useful to you, and hopefully you can share and take some of that knowledge from other people too. As I start, let me disappear for 2 seconds because I need to just have a look around the room while I'm doing this. See, there we are, beautiful. Can you see that? Here we are in World Trade Center Club. Kind of cool, isn't it? Chandelier. Wow. Just imagine if that was back in my hometown in Redcar, it'd have gone missing by now, or somebody would have thrown something at it. You don't know where Redcar is? Google it. Cool place to be. Some of my best friends ever are from there. I'll put my glasses on my head now because when I get messages coming through from Brenton and beyond, hello Brenton, good to see you, then I need to be able to read it. So that's when the glasses come back on me. Everyone goes, Dave's really old. He looks just like his dad. Yes, he does. Okay. 10 years ago, I decided that I wanted to become a stage hypnotist. So why am I telling this story? Well, for a couple of different reasons. Hello to Pooja as well. When I became a stage hypnotist, it happened for a very real reason. I've been a DJ for a long time. I've been on the radio for a very long time. Hello as well to Twane, and Happy New Year to you, Brenton. Not yet, it's still early doors yet, but it still counts. I decided to reinvent myself. I'd been a DJ on the radio for a very long time. I got sick of DJing in clubs and bars, and the reason for that is I'd settled down, being in a relationship, and when you're a DJ in a relationship, all the things that are perks of being a DJ, like the girls, suddenly disappears because you're doing your job. At the end of the night, you watch everybody have fun, get fixed up, and go home, and your job is to wait until the last person stops dancing, and then you switch off the music and you get to go home. But you usually have to pack away some stuff, whether you're doing your own gig, in which case you've got to carry speakers and so on, or you're doing it at somebody else's gig. And the hardest thing about being a DJ as well is people asking for rubbish music, and you've got no choice but to play it for them or tell them that you're not going to play it, in which case they get really upset. Sometimes they ask for really rubbish songs, and then you play it and you know it's going to hurt the dance floor and it will never recover, but you play it because it's so persistent, and they're in the toilet and they missed it in the first place, and they come back and say, did you play it? And go, yes. So when are you going to play it again? Because I missed it. And it's of no use at all. Okay, so anyway, take that into consideration, plus lots of other things like getting older, and I just didn't want to be a DJ anymore, so I decided to reinvent myself. And at the time, I'd split from a long-term partner, fiance at the time. So at the beginning of the year, I started with this big split. For those of you who know me long enough, you know who I'm talking about, and good luck to her and her family and so on anyway. But what it did tell me was I wanted to achieve something in that year. So stopping being a DJ, becoming a hypnotherapist, and then becoming a stage hypnotist really interested me. Now, stage hypnotist, comedy stage hypnosis, a lot of you will think it's all BS and made up. I promise you it's not. And if you have a look at the stuff I've done in the past, hello as well to Naja, to Arith as well. Come to Sri Lanka. I would love to. Invite me, I'll come to Sri Lanka, we'll do rugby again. That'd be really cool. But if you're a stage hypnotist, you can Google and have a look at my videos on YouTube. I promise you it's 100% real. What I see is what you see. And yes, you can make people do crazy things and speak Martian language and then have babies and stuff like that. It's all real. But I wanted to go from the beginning of the year, going through this horrible change in my life, the circumstances, to at the end of the year, having something I could say, right, this is it. I've proven myself. And I bring it up not because I want to do anything apart from to share with you that this time 10 years ago, I was working in the JW Marriott Hotel in Dubai. I was still on the radio, and what had happened was I became a stage hypnotist. I'd gone to Vegas, I'd worked at Tommy V, I'd studied with a couple of different people and learned to be a stage hypnotist, which made me very excited and trying to remember who else I'd worked with, but some very famous hypnotists. So I came back to Dubai and I said, right, give me this sports bar where I was working, Champions, and what I want to do is I'm going to put on a stage hypnosis show, and I'm going to do a 70s night with a big afro. And everyone's like, okay. And so I went ahead to put that together. Hello to Emma, in fact, you remember those good old days, and Mark Lloyd as well, superstar, joining us too. So I decided I was going to do this in Champions, a sports bar in the JW Marriott Hotel in Dubai. And I said, look, just leave that to me. Let me run the sports bar. And they said, no problem at all. So I did all the flyers, I put everything together, and I advertised stage hypnotist in Champions in the Marriott, and a certain price, 150 dirhams, 100 dirhams, whatever it is to get in. So I put it in the flyers in Virgin, and as in the shop. Not the other thing, which would be a horrible illegal thing to do. So I put them in the Virgin shop, and a lot of flyers went missing. So everyone's advertising this is before Facebook, I guess. Everyone's advertising the best New Year's possibilities, and there's no way of telling from pre-bookings or whatever. Most people in Dubai turn up on the door, which is fine. So I went from a venue which normally holds about 300 people, especially on a New Year, to literally a handful of people that turned up on the door. Literally 40 people turned up, of which 25 of them were my invited friends, and 15 were people who I guess were homeless, or just wanted to see what was going on, or were fascinated by the idea that I might be a stage hypnotist, or whatever it was. I mean, I found out what was going on because I rang through to reception of the Marriott, and bless them, the Marriott have been fantastic to me over the years, and I said, right, okay, what have you got going on in Champions? And they said, oh, nothing, it's a private party. So they weren't selling adverts on my behalf or tickets on my behalf. So I resigned myself to having 40 people in the room. Now, amongst these 40 people, I knew that of the 25 people who are my friends, they would forgive me if I didn't do my first stage hypnosis show in Dubai. They'd forgive me, they're my friends anyway. So I could just do the 70s night and it wouldn't matter. But I wanted by the end of the year to have something I could turn around and say, look, my life has moved on. I'm now a stage hypnotist, and I wanted to be able to say I'd done my first proper stage show outside of Vegas, because I did my first show in Vegas before I came back. In fact, there's a guy called Anthony Cools, C-O-O-L-S, who in my opinion is the best stage hypnotist in the world. If you go to Vegas, check him out, he's fantastic, and also say hi from me. And that was like 10 years ago or so when I first met him. So anyway, I'm there. It's about 11 o'clock. I realise I'm not going to get any more walk-in people, and my best friends are there. I think George and Tracy were there. I think Steve was there, and Dennis and Sally, and a number of other people very close to me. All the friends and Wenda and Greg were there, and various friends. And not one of them was pushing me to do a stage hypnosis show, because they just knew I was nervous and worried about it, and it might not work. What if it doesn't work in front of all my friends? It'd be really embarrassing to start the year like that. And I called my parents in the UK. I said to them, look, I want to do a stage hypnosis show. And they said, don't worry if you don't do it. It's not a problem. And I was thinking to myself, I've got to do this show. And I've got to do this show because I wanted to prove myself it can be done. Now, the average show is about 45 minutes to an hour and a half or so, when the show is really rocking. And I was very nervous. I didn't want things to go wrong. I knew what I had to do, but I'd never tried it in front of my friends and so on before. And I made a decision at 11:15 that I would do my show. So I went for it. I invited people to come up and join me on the stage. Hello to Alale as well. And we got 15 people out of the 40 in the room to sit on stage. And I hypnotized maybe 6 of them. And from there, we did a very funny show. And I stopped the show at 5 to 12, enough time to play the music, go Happy New Year, and finish the year as a proper stage hypnotist. Now, things could have gone wrong. I could have made a fool of myself. My friend said to me, Dave, if you're not happy, don't do it. But I still did it. And from there, you can see the legacy. I don't know about legacy, but you can see the shows I've done. I've traveled all around the world in every continent. I've done it as a show that I took all around. Who's there? Hello, very good. I did a show, I did a tour of South Africa and all sorts. But this year feels like that. This year feels like everything is reinvented again. I'm so proud of the fact that I got stuck in and things could have gone wrong, but then you've got to ask yourself, so what if it goes wrong? Are you going to be able to deal with it? And if it does go horribly wrong and you make a fool of yourself, who cares? Who cares that 10 years ago I was deciding whether to be a stage hypnotist or not? Not one person, least of all me. I feel proud of the fact I did it. And this is the thing about the world. One of the things I can guarantee that most people are not ready for is that the world right now there's nothing constant. We've seen 2016, some of our heroes have passed away. The celebrities that we've all known and loved, starting off on the 10th of January with David Bowie. Can you imagine a world without David Bowie? It's just, I can't imagine it now. One of the most formative stars of all time. Madonna, when she gave that amazing acceptance speech at the awards recently for female empowerment, was talking about the fact that she reinvented herself based on a template set for her by David Bowie. And the style of music and the way that he did things made her reinvent herself so many times, and she's carried on doing it ever since. We lost Alan Rickman, amazing actor from the Harry Potter movies and loads of other things as well. George Michael recently, and when I was doing, and Carrie Fisher passed away when I was doing a webinar, and a day later her mother passed on. If you get the list of superstars that have disappeared this year, Caroline Aherne from the Royal Family, if you've ever seen that show, then you'll know who I'm talking about. Jennifer Victoria Wood, lots of stars. Now, why is it that these celebrities disappearing is happening right now? Well, I don't think it is. I think one of the things that's different, and my friend Jackie Beattie in Bahrain summed it up, is before the age of awareness that we have of celebrity, we had lots of movie stars, a handful of TV presenters, but nobody was inside their heads and inside their private lives of social media the way that they are right now. So you might have been, wow, that's somebody that you get to see on a big screen, or maybe you get a chance to see them in real life, but the distance between you and them was so much that you didn't really have that much invested in them. They passed away, it was like, oh bless, I've heard of them. Nowadays, with every single celebrity, you get to know the ins and outs, and you have invested in them. George Michael, I'm invested in. Okay, it wasn't something that he would be particularly bothered about. I bought every album that he had, and loads of CDs and 12-inch singles in the days when Wham were there, and so on, because I was a DJ. And so I knew that everything that he did, I felt like I'd helped in his career, that tiny little bit. Now, I'm not saying I made a big difference. Everyone else bought the music as well. But there's a level of investment in all these stars and celebrities that we didn't have when celebrities passed away a couple of years ago. And that's only going to get worse. Next year, there'll be a load of people unexpected passing far too soon. And a load of people who who've won X Factor and so on, who shouldn't be around anymore. But I'm not picking on anybody in particular. I'm just saying that the fact that the world is changing and your notion of celebrities and the investment you have in people will be completely different. Now, the world is changing at such a rate. I don't think we've ever had a year that's been so turbulent. I don't know a single person who turns around and said, this year is the best year ever, amongst anybody. Everybody's lost someone, lost something, had a hard time in business. For me, when the election happened in the US, and it's in the US, I'm in Dubai, there should be no real difference. Why should it have an impact on me? Well, most of my work is done as a motivational speaker or a trainer. And in November, I saw every single event I had lined up and signed off in November disappear, as every single client cancelled what they were doing because they weren't sure how the world was going to be during that month. I found myself going from a very nice salary to zero, having to reinvent myself again, getting new events and creating them. But the process was fantastic because as I did it, I also made new contacts. I worked in a number of areas that I hadn't really thought about. And before you know it, there's a whole new load of revenue streams that I hadn't considered. So thank you very much to what happened. Now, why is that of any importance? Because you are going to have the same thing. You might have had a great year, you might have had a tough year, but next year, one thing I can guarantee is nothing will be exactly as you expect it to be. Things are going to change. One thing that Donald Trump has taught us, and believe you me, I mean, I have my own thoughts about Donald Trump, but one thing, it doesn't matter whether Donald Trump's in the White House, or Clinton's in the White House, or Obama's in the White House, or Elvis is in the White House. What's happening on a global scale is going to be the way that things are. And the economics that are changing things, it doesn't matter who's in there, they're going to have to deal with a changing world, a recession that's created. And one of the things that comes from this particular recession is you're going to find that the rich do get richer, the poor do get poorer, and the people in the middle, unless they make a decision on where they're going to be, they're going to get poorer as well. Because when things are thrown up in the air, those who have money and time on their hands and aren't living from hand to mouth can turn around and say, yeah, I'll have 10 of them. I'll have 200 of them. I'm going to buy that part of the industry and own it. I don't know what's going to happen, but if it goes wrong, you know what? I don't mind because I've got enough money to play with. Right now, for a load of people who are planning and carving up things that you would see as normal, and everybody else, if they're not making those plans and moving on to create a second income alongside their normal job, they'll find themselves living hand to mouth, surviving, and going, oh my goodness, where's this recession going? Now, recessions are always tough, but they go up and down, as you've probably investigated. Straight after the Second World War, we found ourselves in a situation with a new positivity. Okay, people didn't have money, but they had a positive intent. So 50s and 60s, people are just going crazy, enjoying themselves, doing what they need to do, enjoying free love, or whatever they called it when you didn't pay for it. Then after that, 70s and 80s, in fact, probably more the 80s and maybe 90s, there's a real tightening of things, and a political tightening of things, and an economic tightening of things as well. Feeling of recession, and that turning into the 90s and the hundreds, again, becoming a bit more difficult. Well, that's nothing compared to what you're going to see in the next couple of years, but you will come out of it. But what you decide to do with it right now is of huge importance. And like I say, it doesn't matter who's in the White House or what politics you buy into. You know, what happened with Trump coming in might be a shocker, but Britain had already decided to do the Brexit before that. There's a real throw it up in the air and catch it thing going on amongst people that you need to expect. What I do suggest you do is make friends more than you've ever done before. We've got a news. Well, we've got our news. We've got the news. Now, one thing, I don't pay attention to the news. I never have. And I used to be a BBC News journalist. I stopped paying attention to the news probably about 20 years ago. Why? Because news sells when it's bad news. People want bad news. That's what makes them feel good. Why would people be interested in bad news? Because that's the way we're actually coded to be. Let me explain this to you. Why should it be that we're coded to recognize bad news? Well, think about it. Our DNA is all about survival. When you were cavemen, or our ancestors were cavemen, the guys would be hunting. Imagine this is a spear. Okay, you're hunting in the forest, or you're hunting outside. Now, in front of you, you're following some prey. So you're very aware of where that is, and you're hunting in silence with all the people around you. Now, if you hear a noise from behind you, that could be somebody hunting you. You hear a noise from over that side, who's that's just joined as well. Hello to Mihai, my personal trainer. There we go, he's joined us from probably in Romania now, aren't you? Or are you back in Dubai? Anyway, so you hear a noise from behind you, it's probably somebody hunting you. You hear a noise from that side, it could be a friendly tribe who are coming to join you, or if it's from that side, it could be a hostile tribe who are going to have a fight with you. But what you are very aware of is being aware of all the noises around you. If you're in silence, then any noise makes a difference, and your awareness is about danger. Now, how does that translate to you to real world? Well, let's face it, if you go to a party, or you go to an event, you go up to, say, 100 people, and if you're wearing your very best clothes, whether it's a suit or a dress, if you're a guy wearing a dress, you'll get a few comments. But of those 100 comments that you get, you've got to be aware of what happens. So you go into this party, and 99 people say, you look amazing. And one person says, you look terrible and embarrassing, you should go home. What are you going to remember? The one person, of course, because that's the one that jars in your head. Why should that be? Well, going back to the cavemen, we're wired to watch out for the danger, because that danger might be that bear or that saber-toothed tiger that's going to kill you because you weren't paying attention to it. Now, the news sells as bad news. If the news is all about fluffy stuff and the world is a happier place and everybody loves you, then you're going to end up in a situation where nobody's interested in the news. Because who cares if somebody's won the lottery? Fine, I didn't win it, I don't care. But if somebody says, you know, a plane crashed, or there was an earthquake or a tsunami, then you think, how does that apply to me? Danger, danger, danger. And in your mind, you start thinking about how that relates to you. Well, this is the first time that I can remember where it's not just about the information that you get from news. Pretty much when I worked for the BBC, the news was all about the things that you would share with people that they needed to know. But for the first time, we've got disinformation as being valid news. People are making up stories just to wind up other people, and they're doing it on what looks like proper news sites. So there's a real blurring of the edges between what is true, what is proper journalism, what is citizen journalism that people are making up as they go along, or they're on the scenes and not proper journalists, and what is sent out there just to wind people up. We've never had a situation before where there's so many made-up stories that are being taken as gospel. These things can start wars between people. These things can make people split up. If your family turns around to you and says, do you know your partner's been cheating on you behind your back? Or do you know that your best friends just said horrible things all about you to somebody else? Then you're going to go, what? What? I'm really angry about it. You're going to be really upset. And if it's not true, you'll still feel the same way. Even after you find out it's not true, you'll still feel the same way until you've calmed down. That's what disinformation does, and we're going to see more of that happening in this coming 12 months and beyond. So just be aware of it. That's why I say when the antidote to it is to have a group of people around you, a mastermind group, or at least partners, but the more you can have, who will be there to advise you on a smart way how to move forward. People that you know, like, and trust. Probably friends that you've had on Facebook for many years. Might even be the people that you've had since childhood you haven't really had much contact with, but you trust them because you've known each other from a very young age. And you're able to, you know how on Facebook, you look back at old friends and you see the job they're doing now, and you go, I could see where that came from because at school they were just like that, and it made sense for them to do that. Well, you've got an investment of knowing them. In the same way, those same people, you can have an investment on the way that you predict how you will be in the future and how things will relate to you in the future. If you trust them now, they're probably very trustworthy when it comes to going through disinformation and advising you on what you should be doing next as a result of the things that you've heard about, either in your industry, in your family, or financially, or even emotionally when it comes to actually planning the stuff you've got to do. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose, I keep doing that. And I know it's probably weird to watch on TV. So, in terms of how it all comes together, I've got a cough going on at the same time. Look, I'm phoned to bits with you now live on Facebook. You've got a different world of misinformation being thrown at you, which you've probably never had to experience before. You've got an economic climate of people grabbing stuff around you that you hadn't thought about, and you have to move forward, somehow navigating through all this. But one thing that is going to be different from that's never happened before, is that you'll find a ton of new industries that just didn't exist. Well, not just new industries that didn't exist, but new spins on existing industries. Right, how many of you go to a travel agent when you book a holiday? It sounds kind of weird to say that. Go to a travel agent. I remember when travel agents were as frequent in where you go to a shopping centre as going to a pharmacy. Everywhere you went, you got a chance to book your holidays. But you probably don't do it like that now. You probably go to an online store where you either go for the cheapest holidays short-term, lastminute.com, wherever it would be, or you go into Priceline, or you go directly to the airline and see what packages they've got. Very few people go to the travel industry to sit with somebody and pay their commissions when you can go directly to the suppliers who do it for you. Now, that was a big warning. My friend Ernesto Verdugo shared that with the travel industry when he used to work in it, that there's a big change coming. If you don't watch out for it, then things will change underneath your feet, and you will find that nobody's going to come in, and you lose all these potential bits of business. Not potential, you lose all your clients. Now, this is a year where that happened too with Uber. Now, if you don't know Uber, then they are the people who do taxi services. Because if you're a taxi driver and you've been paid all this time to drive a taxi with people going in it and going from A to B, well, you know now that Uber's changed the whole game. In every single country, or most countries around the world, they have Uber. You go into your app, you press it, and somebody says, I'll be there in X amount of time. The nearest Uber supplier comes to you in their own car, or whether car they've passed their test to be able to drive to you, and will take you from A to B. The charges will be made, you pay, they'll get paid back, and now this has become a proper wage without you going through a taxi company. Taxi companies are going to have to reinvent themselves if they still can exist, because now anybody can become an Uber. Now, this is just the beginning, because almost every other industry is going to get the opportunity to do an Uber on what they do. Now, I've got a webinar lined up with my very good friend Ernesto Verdugo to go through more on the solutions, the ideas of where you can go next, including a list. I was working on it the last 2 days, a list of all the industries where you could find yourself going, oh my goodness, I can do that. I can earn a second income by supplying that to the people around me. Things like gardening, things like, I know, cross-stitch, things like being a personal chef. I've got about 100 of these different areas that you could look at and go, oh my goodness, how do we do that? Because you then go on a global scale. If logistics means nothing, you can send stuff to people. You can go on and create business that people can digitally download, and you can have multiple sources all downloading the same thing that you've created and put onto the internet. There's a whole range of new businesses that people hadn't thought of. So when the economy hits you in the face, which in the coming 12 months I believe will happen to most people, you might have a backup plan. So you still do your daytime job, but you have another number of sources of income that you're able to make and benefit from as you go through this whole experience. So in 2017, there are a number of things that I think you should be aware of. A number of things that you might have to do that are challenging, and a number of things that you may have to turn around and reinvent yourself for. Now, moving over here, because I've got a very quick list I want to go through, and I think I've touched on a number of them. Okay, there's a couple of things here. First of all, goal setting. Now, if you don't set goals, then I really do think it's very useful for you. Hello as well to Naya. There we go. Multiple channels of income. Exactly. I'll be talking about this on the webinar. And if you go to my website, then I'll go to my Facebook. I'll share it with you. And I'll probably have it on my website as well. Hello to Gary Weir. Air United. Way! Very good friend. We used to play football together when we were probably about 7. And we're friends now, which is fantastic. And since then, if you look at any of the pictures from those days, everything was in black and white because life was in black and white. Colour came in the 90s. So as I was saying, I'll be talking more about this on a specific webinar with an S-Time. There'll be details of it given on my Facebook page. Make sure we're connected. And I'll put some stuff on my website, Dave Crane Global as well. Oh, Dundee United. Sorry, Dundee. I know. Of course, it was orange, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, it was the orange. Okay. I'm just being told off now. I should have got that right. Dundee United. You're right. That's why I forgot it. How are they doing, by the way? They're doing all right. How was this year for them? It's a 2-person conversation. Everyone else is going, I don't even know Dundee United existed. Well, they do, and Gary likes them as well. And he says, yep, cheers for the shout out. Happy New Year to you as well. So I will be sharing details. I actually have a special gift for everybody. I don't know if you took the time to download it, but if you go to my Facebook page, I'll post it underneath this video so you can share it with people. And the top of the league. What league is it, Gary? Scottish Premier League? Was it 2? Or was it 3? 4? I don't know. I'm no disrespect, but I don't follow football in the same way. Let me just put you on hold for a little while. We'll just check with Gary to find out how Dundee United go. It's probably faster if you Google it as well. But just tell what's happened. He'll post it in a second. So I put together a bundle of goodies for you, digital goodies, including a stage hypnosis show, some special things you can use to do goal setting for the 2017, a whole lot of stuff packaged, completely free as a gift from me to you. And there's a link to it, which I'll share with you. And Gary says, Scottish Championship, second division. See? That's why I didn't see it. But well done to him anyway. And it's Premier, Scottish Premier, then you've got First Division, so it's 3rd tier. Is that right? No offence. So, Gary's wishing he hadn't brought it up. So I've got a special free gift for you that you can keep, you can share with people. I'll leave it up for a little while, and you can see it. I think it's on davecraneglobal.com, which is my website, davecraneglobal.com, and it's Merry Christmas to you, I think, with a dash in between each word. But I'll leave it on my Facebook, and I'll put it underneath this video. Have a look at it. Download everything. It's completely free as a gift from me to you. I don't want to have anything that prevents you from enjoying the process and getting all this stuff. I've even got some radio shows I used to do when I did Mission Impossible on the radio years ago, where I used to get people wound up and get them to do crazy things like smash their house up and go around to the neighbour's house and rob them live on the radio. And that was the early stages of hypnosis. So goal setting. I had a conversation, I posted a question on my Facebook today, which is, what are your New Year's resolutions? And Emma rightly turned around and said, well, you know, why should I have New Year's resolutions? And I said, well, because it really help you get your goals. And she said, I have goals on an ongoing basis. And this is very important because around about this time of year, everyone says, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to pay off my bills, I'm going to make more friends, have less friends, whatever the deal is. But most people, when they turn around, if they don't do it in the first 2 weeks, then they dump their goals. And we just move on because we forget about them. And it's not very smart to have New Year's resolutions like that. They're always useful for being able to make a look at what you did last year and what you've achieved since then, but you should be reinventing yourself every single day. Set new goals. Why wait for New Year? Why would you wait 12 months? Why not just do it every single day and keep moving yourself on and on and on, which makes a lot more sense, so there are no barriers. Okay? I've got a book that I'm going to bring out in the next year. Happy birthday, for exactly that reason. It was created to be a New Year's resolution thing, right? and I'll be publishing it, and you can get access to it. And if you're my friend on Facebook, then you probably had a snippet of it as a gift for the last couple of years, where I distribute a segment of it. But it was created because I thought, well, people reinvent themselves at New Year, but really, why would you wait that long? Why not do it every single day, or at least on a birthday, and then you can reach people when they're in that frame of mind where they want things to be better in the coming 12 months. So goal setting. A test was done of students to find out. We got every student to write down, basically, or to tell people what their goals were for when they grew up. And then years later, I think it was 10, 20 years later, they went back to them to see who'd achieved. Out of the 100 students, 3 of them had written down their goals. And those 3 students had amassed about 95% of the wealth of the entire 100 students just among those 3. Were they special? Had they done anything different? No, they'd just written down their goals and focused on them. They hadn't been driven by the economy, hadn't been driven by their parents, hadn't been driven by their friends, family, partners, none of that stuff. They'd been driven by their goals. And from the very beginning, they knew what they wanted and they worked towards it, and they weren't pushed off the path. Now that's important. Write down your goals. That's why I was pushing about New Year's resolutions, because if this is the first time you're going to write down your goals, then at least you'll have them in front of you, put them in your wallet and check them every single day to make sure you're moving towards it. Now I've done a section for it. I won't share it with you. I've got my very own long-term, short-term goals, but not only have I put down fantastic things I want to achieve in the next 12 months and beyond, but I've done a breakdown of every single part of what goes into it. And I did that because my own coach and mentor, my big brother, Darius Saudi, who may be watching this, but if you Google him, find him on Facebook, go to his business page. He runs a company called Be Unique. Lovely guy, probably one of my best friends ever, very smart guy. And he sat with me and he worked through my goals with me and challenges me all the time about how do you get that, what should you do? And sometimes you're too close to your own subject. You might be smart at what you do, but it's like a fish looking for water. This water, I've heard about it. Where is it? Where can I find it? Well, you're so close to it, you don't notice it. So you need to have another set of eyes, another set of ears who can challenge you and question you because you're too close to your own answers and you create this little comfort zone. Nothing comes out of comfort zones. You've got to have a level of discomfort to work towards it. Otherwise, you'd never move. You'd never do anything different. You'd stay where you are and wonder why the world is changing and you can't catch up with it. So set out your goals, make them difficult for you. I've got a free template for you when you go to this website, this link, which I'll post onto this video, which I share with everybody, and you can share it with everybody too as well. Okay? So set your goals out and work towards them. So what can we expect in the coming year? Well, first of all, this might be the last time I can show you this. I'm planning on getting my hair cut. Really, Dave? Yeah, I just thought it might be time for a change. Why? Well, because it's getting really grey. And also because if you're going to reinvent yourself, why not do it properly? So I'm still umming and ahhing about it. I told the wife yesterday about it, and she's like, are you for real? I've not told my daughter. She might say, no, Daddy, I want you to be like Bob Marley, but she has no idea who Bob Marley is because she's 6. So I'll be reinventing myself a few different ways in the coming year. I have loads of plans, including bringing my book out and lots of other stuff. So I'd love to know what your plans are. What is it that you're going to do? And I'll tell you what I'll do. I will hold you to them. If you post them as comments on this video and share with me what your plans are, I'll make a note of it and I'll push you. I'll keep checking in to make sure you've done it right. I'll give you a load of ideas just like this on a regular basis so you can get towards you want out of life the same as I can get what I want out of life. And I have no doubt that I'm going to achieve everything I intend to do, because why would I not do it otherwise? Now tonight, this video is coming out in, it's coming out now. Color your hair. I noticed you've done that. Yeah, but the thing is I don't want to. I want to, yeah, okay. Well, I want to reinvent myself a little bit, and I know that if I get my hair cut, it'll never grow back again, but I'm thinking about something spiky. What do you think? Is that? No? Is that a bit weird? I don't know. I'm going to be talking to a couple of hairdressers, and I'd take your advice. I might just go bald. There you go. I might go bald and let it grow the afro, so it look like I've got balaclava on all the time. There's a guy called Jeffrey Wright, brilliant actor. You'll have seen him in stuff like James Bond, and if you watch Westworld, he's in there. And I actually look a lot like him now, and he looks very cool. Maybe I just go for a straight Denzel. I don't know. I'm just thinking about it out loud, but I'm sharing it with you because we're live on Facebook and so on. So 2017 What's all this? No spikes, no bald head. Why not? Maybe I should just have a tram line. I don't know. What should I do? Go blonde again? That'll look natural. So 2017, whatever you're planning to do tonight, whatever you're planning to do in the coming year, I'd like to offer to be there to help you. Here's the deal. I'll carry on making these videos and sharing with you as much information as I can do if you're willing to orange hair. Thank you for that. Just like Dundee United. I'll have a 3rd division haircut. Sorry, you started this. I promise I will share with you as much as I can do. I'll keep making motivational videos. I'll do them daily as much as as often as I can, and share new insights. Because one thing I can guarantee is the next 12 months is going to be the most turbulent that you will have experienced in your life. And I don't see how it's going to get better. It will get better at some point, but the question is, how much are you going to let it damage you until we get to that point? I know, for instance, that if you're walking down the street and somebody shouts duck, and you duck, there's a very good chance there was something coming towards your head. If you ignore it, or you don't know it, it'll smack you in the face. Now, it might be simple. It might be a duck, or it might be a brick, or it could be something even bigger, like, I don't know, a drone, he said, pretending to be something out of the Terminator. But the more insights and warnings, and the more direction and knowledge that you can share with people, the better the chance that they'll get something out of their lives that they truly want to have. And that's my promise to you for 2017. I'm going to do a number of things to help you to move forward. I'd love for you just to share that with people. I want to go back to my Facebook fan page, my business page, which is Dave Crane, hypnotist, life designer, and so on. Because when I broadcast them there, I can boost it and get to more people. But I realize now, by doing it on Facebook Live like this, then all my friends and family get to see me. So what I want you to do is like my other page, which is Dave Crane, life designer, hypnotist, and something of the other. I'll share it with you later on. I'll put it as a link. Because from there, I want to be able to do all the broadcasts directly from that page online in 2017. And you'll miss out on it. Hello to Kim, by the way. Happy New Year when it comes. I'd love to know what your New Year's resolutions are, or what goals you plan to do for the coming year. I will share with you videos, and as much as possible, if there's anything that you're looking for that you need help with, I'll do a video on it for you. I'll give you a number of insights, 10 rules, 10 things to watch out for, and give you some contacts about how you can make that big difference as well. Hello to Neil Fawcett, my very good friend, of course, in the UK. Many people are just waking up, but I'm sure you've already been into constituency, and you've already talked about how the world will be a better place when you're in charge, which I'd be quite happy, actually, Neil, if you took over from Mr. Trump. But let's not go there. Politics is an interesting little issue that's big, but there we go. So that's my gift to you, my promise to you. Have an amazing new year. It's only literally in Dubai. We're talking about 8 hours away. So being based here in the World Trade Center, let me take you for a look out the window. Do you like to see? Oh, look at my nose. Look, I need to shave that. This is Sheikh Zayed Road. Can you see this? Just having a quick look out there. I'm sharing with you, if you can see, and the traffic is down there as well, without bumping the stand. I don't know how much you can see from here. I'll take a quick look out there. It was all fog earlier. You couldn't see anything at all. But we're at the Trade Center. For anybody who knows Dubai, then it's Trade Center roundabout, and the view down Sheikh Zayed Road. That will be amazing tonight. They'll have the biggest fireworks probably in the world. Last year, right? This time last year, and you can Google it or check it out on my own Facebook page and go back 12 months. I was DJing in the Jumeirah Beach Hotel. I was hosting it and DJing it, and we were going for the world's biggest fireworks display. And at that time, I was looking after the Jumeirah Beach Hotel, which is the one that looks like a big sail. And across the way was all the people at the Burj Al Arab, and it had Jumeirah Beach Resort as well. So I was looking after about 5,000 people with music and so on. I was doing the gig with, who's that? Adil, nice to see you. Cheers. I was doing the gig with Heather Small from M People. You know, and she's actually very small. I thought she'd be big, but because she had a big, like, pineapple hair thing going on for many years. So Heather Small was there with her band and a few other artists as well. And so we're going for the world's biggest fireworks display. Now, as we're getting ready and everything's primed up and we've timed it perfect, and the theme of the Jumeirah Beach Hotel was frozen, so there's snow everywhere and it's all done white. It's a beautiful experience. They're starting off the fireworks at the Burj Khalifa. The idea of sending it from Burj Khalifa all the way down the beachfront, heading past us at Jumeirah area, and then heading down towards Abu Dhabi and Jebel Ali. So it's going to be the world's biggest fireworks display. And then suddenly, it caught fire at a certain hotel. And so I'm getting messages from people in the UK and people saying, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you going up in flames? What's going on? Now, luckily, nobody got hurt in that fire. Maybe a few burned, but nobody got killed or hurt beyond that in that fire. So I can talk about the story. So we're there, about 5 to 12, getting Facebook's going red hot from people saying, Dave, are you okay? Are you in a fireworks display? Are you going to be safe? We're also wondering whether they're going to go ahead with this fireworks display and do it or not. Are they going to release the fireworks? Are they going to send it for the world record? Or are they going to just stop it as and where it is? Well, we got our answer. We were watching on TV, and our guess was as good as yours. And there were the managers from Jumeirah saying, are we going to go ahead? Should we tell people it's cancelled, or should we see? Next thing you know, fireworks everywhere, making their way across to us. We joined in. We sent our fireworks for another 15 minutes, and it went further on down the sea. And so there we go. The world record was born. What's my point? This is my point. Whether you work out what you're going to do in the next, who's that by the way? Belinda, all the way in Oz, nice to see you. If you work out what you're going to do in the next 12 months, and you do it, or you don't do it, the world doesn't give a monkey's. It's going to do its own thing, and it's going to keep spinning around, and people are going to make money, and they're going to keep doing stuff, and having fun, and getting divorced, and marrying new people, and blah, 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 Kardashian, blah, 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 whether or not you participate in it. So it's your choice, like everything. You can get involved and drive the stories and drive the changes, or you can go la 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 and ignore everything and deal with it as you see fit. To me personally, I want to get involved. One thing I did learn about Carrie Fisher, about George Michael, and David Bowie, and Alan Rickman, is time disappears. And you never get it back again. So my commitment to you is very simple. I'm going to graft to give you the best opportunities you can have in 2017. All I need is feedback, and all I need for you to do is share it and help other people at the same time. So wherever you are tonight, Happy New Year coming. If it's already gone New Year for you, and I think in Australia it's not far off, then a Happy New Year to you as well. I'll make a video tomorrow with whatever state of me is left after enjoying the experience of a Happy New Year in Dubai. And then we start down in business. We've got a webinar coming soon with Ernesto. I'll send you the link to that. You can see it on my Facebook page. Check me out on Instagram, by the way. On Instagram, I'm doing a load of stuff that I don't put onto Facebook as well. I'd love for you to follow there and give me your feedback, and also let me know where you are so I can follow you at the same time. That's it from me. I'm going to spend the evening with my lovely wife and daughter and our 2 dogs and maybe a host of friends like the many thousands of people are out there. I'd love for you to share your messages, and I'll share them all around the world. So I will see you in 1 year's time. Lots of love from me to you, and also from Tuane. Thank you. You pay it forward as well. Everybody else, have a great one. Talk to you very soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.